Baie dankie Alwyn. Ons gaan dan oor na die volgende spreker toe in die gespreksgeleentheid wat ons geskep het. Dit gaan oor landbou by die internasionale arena. Pas voortdurend aan en floreer is die tema. Meneer Dan Hennessy, wat die visiepresident is van Land O'Lakes International, gaan vir ons hierdie gespreksgeleentheid lei. Ek wil net eers kortliks u voorhou wie hierdie persoon is. Dan is currently responsible for Land O'Lakes commercial operations in Africa, Canada and Latin America. He has been with Land O'Lakes for 14 years. Dan is currently the CEO of Villa Crop Protection, a crop protection company in South Africa, and Bidco Land O'Lakes, a joint venture with Bidco Africa Limited in Kenya. Dan's background is general management, operations, corporate finance, and treasury. He has an undergraduate degree in marketing and an MBA in finance. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to listen to what Dan has to say to us. Thank you very much.
So today we're very honored to have Dan Hennessy. He's the Vice President of Land O'Lakes International as our guest, talking about how international companies view agriculture in South Africa as well as Africa. And Dan has a very, very good career with Land O'Lakes, a very prestigious career actually. And he used to live here for 2 years. He enjoys Brian a lot. And he told me the other day he misses the weather as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about Dan's story and the Land O'Lakes story in Africa and in South Africa. So maybe, Dan, if we can start, perhaps just introduce to our audience and our Congress, who's Land O'Lakes, what do you guys do, and what makes you special?
Yeah, thanks, Omri. Appreciate the opportunity. So talking a little bit about Land O'Lakes, I've been with the company now for 14 years, been part of various parts of the company throughout my career. What makes Land O'Lakes a little bit unique is we are a very large farmer-owned cooperative. So we're ranked on the Fortune 200 company. Our turnover is over $14 billion US per year. But we're still owned by the farmers and work on behalf of the farmers. And so that makes us a little bit unique. Our company's made up of 3 primary business units. We started as a dairy foods cooperative back in 1921. So next year we'll actually celebrate our 100-year anniversary, where we market about 13 billion hundredweights of milk on behalf of our members. We also have one of the largest animal feed businesses here in the U.S. And then our crop inputs, Winfield United, they do about $7 billion a year in turnover. We touch about half of the acres planted in the U.S. in one way or another. So very large presence in agriculture, all the way from planting seed to feeding our animals to putting consumer products on the shelf. So very unique company to be as large as we are, but yet still have that connection to the farm.
That's wonderful, Dan. So you still have that farmer connection. You're owned by farmers. Tell us a little bit about your strategy, just in terms of where is Land O'Lakes going, and how do you see the future unfolding for your cooperative as a major player in the world agricultural industry?
Yeah, so up until about, say, 2013 or so, we were essentially a domestic company. 98% of our business was done within the U.S. We had a little bit of export business. But at that point, we were looking around, deciding where we were going to look for growth. And one of the areas that we became focused on is our international growth strategy. And so we've identified 5 or 6 target markets in, Canada, Latin America, China, Africa were the primary focus markets. And in South Africa at that point was one of the targets that we identified early in the process. And so we began exploring partnerships here. And back in 2015, we did the partnership with Villa crop protection. And so very excited about that opportunity. I've been very happy with it so far.
That's an amazing story, Dan. Just tell us a little bit about your experience in South Africa. I mean, you spent a couple of years here running Villa. I mean, how do you see South African agriculture and African agriculture actually in relative terms to what you guys are doing in the States? And how do you see the future of how it can unfold on the continent?
Yeah, no. Actually, I was there close to 4 years, so had enough time to really understand the culture and get into it. Unfortunately, my Afrikaans didn't improve too much, but South Africa is an interesting place. I think when we originally did the transaction, we were thinking, this is an opportunity to bring a lot of the insights from the U.S. to Africa. And I think what we discovered and what we found is it's how advanced and sophisticated and creative and entrepreneurial and how determined the South African farmers were. And so I would say in the partnership so far, we've probably learned as much from South African farmers as we've brought to the table in terms of bringing some of our tools and capabilities. So that was really fun to see how really advanced South African agriculture is. And for us as a company, as we look to expand globally, South Africa was sort of we'll call it the landing point is from a broader Africa strategy. And so as we look to continue growth, we are going to be looking to expand north into different markets, but certainly view South Africa as a big hub going forward. So
Dan, just in terms in the upper echelons of your strategic designs and your exco and how they view the continent, is South Africa or is Africa the next breadbasket of the future? I mean, how do you guys see that?
Yes, as we look at it, I would agree with that statement. If you look at the growth rates in Africa relative to other parts, you look at things like the emerging middle class, as overall economics improve in the various regions and countries, we see a demand for, as we see, call it wealth increase, the demand for higher quality food sources is going to follow that increase in wealth. And so, that increase in demand is going to have to be supplied from the continent. And we think there's a lot of opportunity to bring modern technology, the latest cutting edge products and services to the market to really help the local farmers step up and meet that increased demand. And so over the, next 5 to 10 years, we're definitely looking at Africa as being probably the leading area of growth globally.
Thank you, Dan. And just in terms of your South African story and where you've come from, what do you think are the game changers that's going to shape agriculture globally and nationally? If you had to pick 3 of the major changes that you as a company see, what would those be?
Yeah, certainly, if you talk about trends in agriculture, everybody's talking about consolidation. I mean, with all of the changes that occurred in the last 3 years, that's a big trend we're seeing. Others are talking about digital and kind of the advent of all things digital. As I'm thinking about it, maybe I would look at it a little bit different and call out a couple key areas that I think are going to become more and more important. And really those 2 areas are all around insights and efficiency. And so maybe looking at insights a little bit, here in the U.S. and in other markets, and certainly South Africa, it seems like there's a new, call it digital tool, a new app, a new technology. Someone's doing something different with drones. And so, there's this explosion of digital. And what we're seeing in the U.S. and certainly in South Africa is how do you turn all of that new information into insights? And so, and what I mean by insights is decision making on the farm using a data-backed model. As commodity prices stay low and the need for a return on investment continues to expand, that data and being able to make smart decisions with an ROI mindset is going to be key. And so it's really turning all of that technology into meaningful insights. I think that's one area where you're going to see a lot. And then the other thing is really on efficiency and specifically around supply chain efficiency going forward. As you know, we all know commodity prices have dropped as of late and continue to remain low, and we still see productivity improvements outpacing demand. And so in that environment, the need to become more efficient as an integrated supply chain is going to continue to be necessary in order to provide the level of service that the farms require, to be able to deal with margin compression and lower costs or lower prices in the market. And so I think insights and efficiencies are really going to be the key things that drive us going forward. And certainly as a company, you know, we're investing heavily in the U.S. on ways to get ahead of those trends and be in a position to do that. One of the ways in the U.S. we do it is through our answer plot system, because as we all know, new chemistries are going to be slow to the market. Regulatory costs have gone up, and so you're not going to see as much new stuff coming. And at the same time, on the seed and genetic side, those advancements are accelerating as well. So between the two, knowing what to plant on each acre or hectare from an ROI mindset is going to be critical.
Thanks, Dan. I don't think a lot of people actually know and realize the size and scope of what you guys do, just in terms of your partnerships with Nestle, etc. But I want to ask you back to South Africa. I want to ask you two questions. Apart from the buying part, what are the two things that worry you the most, and what are the two things that excite you the most about South Africa?
Well, I think from a concern, you know, certainly some of the political instability is something that you do have to think about as you're looking to continue to expand investment and put more capital into country. And so that's something I worry about. What excites me most is the fact that South African farmers are able to, despite changes in climate patterns, despite droughts, despite all of the things going on, are stepping up and able to continue to produce food, to deliver at a high level. And so, you know, I have full faith and confidence in the farmers that we will be able to continue to provide. And I look for us to be a key partner in that process, to be able to provide, you know, the right products and the right services to help farmers be successful.
Wonderful. Thanks, Dan. Dan, last question from my side. Were you glad when South Africa won the World Cup rugby?
Oh, yeah. I was, you know, for me, that was kind of I guess a perfect timing to be in country when that happened, and was, you know, out in the backyard yelling and screaming along with my neighbors. So that was a wonderful experience. And, you know, I think you mentioned it before. I mean, I really do miss my time in South Africa. And, you know, it was unfortunate COVID kind of cut it short, but I can't wait to get back there at the next possible opportunity.
Wonderful, Dan. Just from an Agri SA point of view and from the whole Congress, we want to thank you and for Land O'Lakes and all the contributions you've made in South Africa and the rest of the world. We're really looking forward to seeing you again, and I promise you we'll have a braai and a beer when we see you again. Thank you very much.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Omri.
So what a wonderful opportunity to speak to Dan about Land O'Lakes, their international strategy, their local strategy, the stuff that they are doing for agriculture, and you know, taking him from really a global position to you know, shouting for our World Cup rugby team, and you know, having a braai and missing South Africa. I think that's what makes us unique as a nation, is we're a lot of warm people, and perhaps that's one message, is to say, listen, we can win this World Cup, and let's just go ahead and do it.